Welcome back, friends. Well, I've got sawdust all over me. It's Monday morning. Just sawed up a log, another pine log. Show you the lumber off of that. Waiting for the grooming stone for the sawmill blade sharpener. Looking at the wall, I have no more sharp blades. I need to either, from Wood-Mizer, I have 2 saw blades ordered, and they are different than what I've been using compared to the Lennox, which Woodland Mills sells. So I have just doled up my last blade on my Woodland Mills HM130 Max, keeping in mind, if you're watching this, if you have a Woodland Mills sawmill, the blades for the 130 and 130 Max are not the same. The 130 is a 144 inch, and then the Max is a 157.5, and Wood-Mizer has the 158, a 4-degree blade that I'm going to try. You have seen in previous videos the amount of hickory I have out in the log yard, and I'm going to take and attempt to saw all that wood up for hardwood, tongue and groove hardwood flooring. So I've got lofty goals for that, and of course hickory being as hard as it is, I'm thinking a 4-degree blade may be the answer. I want to show you what I'm doing today. So we're basically waiting on sawmill blades or sharpened blades. Let's see what's going on. On the sawmill side shed, I've been sawing up more pine logs for that, for board and batten, and my wife just had a great idea for a sliding door, but let me turn the camera around. We'll go over there. I'll show you what I have sawn up so far, and also take and share the idea with you about the sawmill side shed. It's looking like it's gonna storm, and I'll need to back my trailer with my lumber for the side shed back here in the side of the barn. What I have on this pile inside of the hay barn are some 1.25 inch, 5/4 boards, some 1.5 inch. It will be, I'll need to resaw them to make them straight, so I'm not sure if they'll be a 4 inch, 5 inch, but on the far side you will see some 7-inch posts or beams, whatever somebody would want to use them for. All right, and what I'm going to do is sawing up more of the pine logs out in the yard, and my cattle working equipment has gone too long without a cover of some sort. I checked out one of those metal carports, and they want $1,000 for a carport, and I think I can build something for less money out of the sawmill lumber, save a few bucks, but just do the job myself. I only have a basic design in my mind, so I am not totally there yet. And here comes the kitties. They all want to come visit. Hey, you guys. All right. Let me back up a little bit. So this 20-foot opening, my wife says, well, why don't you just put a big sliding door on there? She was thinking sliding it a 10-foot door one way and a 10-foot the other way. But I will probably go ahead and make it 2 10-foot, but just make it so it can slide all the way to the left. And then that way I can load a log and then shut the doors. Or if there's cows or sheep in here and I don't want them in there where I'm milling and working at, I can just shut the door on them. Haven't decided on the front and the rear, or would be the sides, because right now I could take and drive all the way through this and park the trailer. Now, I'm not ready to move the sawmill yet, and these pine logs are some nasty white grubs. I'm guessing they're pine beetles or something, but I'm going to mill up within the next 2 months all of those pine logs, try to kill as many as those white grubs. Of course, the chickens are loving them. When they fall out, they are taking care of business, but expose them. So the two 10-foot holes right here will be a board and batten. Now my thought is, with the overhead beam and the boards, all of this is 8-inch, that I'll set it in far enough that the battens will be flush with the outside posts. Then that way there's nothing to get in the way of a sliding door. I got something pretty cool to show you over the weekend, or was it Friday? I sawed up 3 logs, and got the cousins on the phone this morning trying to determine what kind of a log it was. And so I just put them in the kiln this morning. This is more lumber that I have sawn in the last couple of days, getting ready for the side shed build for the board and batten. I hear the fans just kicked on. We got one fan on. It's a little over 80 degrees inside the kiln. Now, something I want to point out. The last couple of weeks I hadn't had anything in the Solar Kiln. On the ground, and it's not the cats, that is Sweet Italian Basil herb plant. Come to find out, my wife was using the Solar Kiln to dry it out. Then she went and started set into the drying process pepper plants that came out of her garden. So they were all dried, and so visited with Randall and Weldon, and I'm going to show you the face of these boards. They called it soft maple. It's windy out here, probably going to get hurt fooling with these doors. So the 3 logs were different lengths. These 2 are pine, but look at the spalting, the color in these boards. Here's some more. This is the pith running through the end of this one. But I'm thinking we'll let this dry for a month and run it through a planer on some of them and just make some cutting boards as Christmas gifts. 10 inches wide, and that's probably about that's 10 3/4 wide, but I think that would make some nice cutting boards. But we have a farmer's market here in Houston County, and I think after drying these, start working the farmer's market and selling some of this wood. I do have a it's a previous video, was a silver maple that I slabbed with live edges, and it is, now I can't remember, so long ago, a 2.5 inch or 3 inch slabs, and they're really wide. But those have just been air drying and take a couple years to get that done. But if it looks like it's a project we want to get into, we'll put it inside the Solar Kiln. More information, I did the whole series on the Solar Kiln, so if you want to go and watch those videos all about how I made this, be happy for you to do that. Alright, so we'll get started resawing some of the boards that are on the trailer. They've just been air drying for a few days, but I'm not afraid of using on this project any green lumber. So over here on the trailer, to cut down on the waste, I need to have some 8-inch boards, and I need 8-inch. Let me adjust this thing. And the wind, you're probably gonna hear the wind on it, but I need some 8-foot boards. Yeah, this is 8 foot 8 inches, but I'm going to use it for the inside framing of the posts to go vertical, and then I'll come back with some horizontal boards across there, probably every 2 feet, to attach the 5/4 board. Hello, little kitty. The 5/4 board to in there, but you'll see it in a video, so I'll just shut off the camera now, take this over to the sawmill, and make sure I've already resawed 3 boards, and got the warp out of it, the side to side where I put it on edge, and then work the warp out of that. That's why I leave them so wide. I can always go back after they dry for a short time or for a long time, and then even those edges out and try to make it all not necessarily square, but even up the edges, and take some of the warp or bend out of the boards. I may even be able to mill these in half. Yeah, they're 8.5 inches wide. So if I did 4, I would only need 2 for that. Yeah, let's go to the sawmill and whittle these down, and then see what we come up with. So what I'm looking for is a straight edge. I see a tiny gap right here. So let's take, trying to get a straight edge. I'll take a short amount off of that, then flip them over, and then do it again. I've got this soft pine 2x4 that I like to hold this stuff down. There's how much that cut took off of that. All right, right, there's my 2x4s. 1.5 inches. Little over 1.5 inches by 3 7/8 wide. So I just need 4 of those. That'll take care of the vertical on the inside. I'll show you the measurement from the edge of the post. I need to go back 1 inch for the batten, 1 1/4 for the board, and then for the horizontal boards that all that will be nailed to, that's 1.5 inches. So that'll take me back from the edge of the upright post, level those out and nail those verticals so I have something to attach. I'll attach it with screws first in 2 spots, and then I'll come back with my nail gun. I've got the shank galvanized 3-inch, I don't know if I've got the 3-inch or 3 1/4 nails, but then I'll go back and nail that, make sure it's in exactly where I want it before I nail it down permanently. So let's remember, I'm finished with the sawmill today, so we're going to release the tension on the blade. Now what I do on my sawmill this morning when I got started, I tightened this down. I got my torque wrench out, 25 foot-pounds. About halfway through the log, the blade started, was stopping. And so I took the torque wrench, checked it again, and tightened it down a little bit more. So it's a constant game. When something's going on, don't ignore it. Check it out. But that's what it was. It just these sawmill blades stretch, and you need to keep good tension on them, or you get some lousy cuts, the dips, the dives, the rises whenever you hit a knot. And you know, all of these have been on those pine logs, and I kind of slowed down when I see the big pine knots coming up and ease through them before I take off again. So let's pause for now, and we'll go back to the side shed to the hay barn. All right, so I've got those marked. I need to, so what I'm going to do now is take those 2x4s we just took off the sawmill, cut them to length, and go ahead and screw them up into place. Oh, I was going to show you. Right here is the holes that those beetle larvae, I don't know. If somebody knows, put it in the comments below. Tell me what I'm looking at. But anyway, when you plug them, they're probably, what is that, 1.5 inches up to 2 inches long, a complete white body with a black face with some serious chompers that eat into these boards. All right, let's get back to work. Oh, we got a new blade. UPS man showed up with the Wood-Mizer. It's the 747 blade. So now I can put it on there and saw up some more logs today. Pretty cool. What we just looked at on will be the new wall. I don't want them sitting right on top of the concrete piers, so that way if there's any moisture, that'll dry up, not be sucked up by this wood. But I don't think I want it all the way at the top, and give this the wood some breathing room. And then we'll put a top trim board across the very top before we start the battens going down. That way, whenever the wood starts to move from wet weather to dry weather back to wet weather, it'll have enough room to contract and expand. I can't even talk. For contraction and expansion. How about that? This Craftsman miter saw, what is it, 10-inch sliding, complete Facebook Marketplace. I bought a few things off Facebook Marketplace, and what did I give? $150 for this thing. This apparatus, this booger's heavy. It's steel. It's not aluminum. So you got, if you had to move it far, you'd have to get help. Yeah, these are 3.5-inch deck screws. Like I said, I'm just going to screw these into place for the time being. Make sure everything comes out how I want it before I take the nail gun to it. Yeah, I have to have all these panels up. As you can see out in the pasture there is the round bale feeder. The cow spent a couple days there eating up all that hay. I don't want them in here, and the sheep as well. So that's where I'm coming up with the gate, panel, sliding door ideas to alienate them from coming into my sawmill side shed. If you're wondering about these green chaps that I got on, in Idaho we would all that we fooled around with square bales, alfalfa bales, pretty heavy. So as a young boy, Mama found these at a yard sale or something, and when I wore them, they were just like pants. I mean, they covered up my pants completely. But get out there bucking hay, throwing it on the trailer, and if your denim jeans, if your Wranglers were run a little thin, it was kind of rough on your legs. So I've had these for a lot of years. So if I can get these walls up, then I could remove these panels totally. Moving right along. I don't know, can you see that rooster? That is a young rooster that just figured out how to crow, and he is not giving the girl chickens, the hens, a break. If they get close to him, well, he's a mess.